How Claude AI made my writing easier as a novel writer. Do you know AI has made life and work really easy? What if I told you that one AI tool cut my writing time almost in half? Not because it wrote my novel for me or magically created best-selling stories, but because it solved the one problem that stops most writers from finishing their books: writer's block. And honestly, I didn't expect it to work this well. A few months ago, I was spending hours staring at a blank screen, rewriting the same paragraph over and over again. Now, I can plan scenes faster, brainstorm ideas in minutes, and get unstuck whenever my creativity decides to disappear. And the tool that helped me do that is Claude AI. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I use Claude AI as a novel writer. I'll share the specific prompts I use, the mistakes beginners make when using AI for writing, and the one feature that completely changed how I write fiction. By the end of this video, you'll know whether Claude AI is actually worth using for your writing, or if it's just another overhyped AI tool. Come on, let's get into it. Firstly, what is Claude AI? Before we talk about how Claude helped my writing, let's quickly cover what it actually is. Claude AI is an AI assistant created by Anthropic. Think of it like ChatGPT. You type a question or a request. Claude responds. Simple, right? But here's where things get interesting. While many people use AI tools for emails, homework, or business tasks, writers have started using Claude for brainstorming, outlining, character development, and editing. And after testing several AI tools myself, I noticed something. Claude tends to produce writing that feels more natural and conversational. It not only has a retentive memory, but also understands context really well, especially when you're working on longer projects. For novel writers, that's a huge advantage. Writing a novel isn't just about creating one good paragraph, it's about keeping track of characters, plot points, relationships, motivations, and story arcs over hundreds of pages. The good thing about Claude is that it can help you organize all of that. Now, before anyone panics, no, I'm not saying AI should write your novel. Your creativity, voice, and storytelling still matter. Claude is simply a writing assistant. It's like having a brainstorming partner available 24 hours a day, and that leads us to the first way it made my writing easier. Before we get to it, let me ask you a quick question. Have you ever spent 30 minutes trying to come up with a character name? Because I definitely have. And good thing Claude was there to save me. Not only my time, but also my energy. Now, let's talk about how Claude helped me brainstorm faster. Another of the biggest challenges for writers isn't writing, it's deciding what to write. You need plot ideas, character ideas, conflict ideas, twists, dialogue, and backstories. The list never ends. These used to be a challenge to me, jumping between Google searches, YouTube videos, Pinterest boards, and random notes trying to gather inspiration. Just the thought of it is exhausting, right? Now I simply run to Claude, and within seconds my problem is solved. Let's say I want to write a romance novel. Instead of staring at a blank page, I might just type, "Give me 5 unique werewolf hockey campus enemies to lovers trope story ideas set in New York." Within seconds, I have my ideas. Not perfect stories. Just starting points, which is all I need. Sometimes one idea sparks another, then suddenly I have an entire story planned. Another way I use Claude is for character development. For example, help me create a strong plus-size female protagonist who is confident and lovable. Claude can generate personality traits, fears, strengths, weaknesses, habits, and even possible character arcs. Again, I don't copy everything, I pick what works and ignore what doesn't. The goal isn't replacing creativity, but accelerating creativity. And that's a huge difference. Momentum matters when you're writing a novel. The faster you can move from idea to writing, the more likely you are to finish your book. Next is how Claude eliminated my writer's block. Let's talk about the biggest reason I kept using Claude: writer's block. Every writer experiences it. You're halfway through a chapter, the story slows down, you don't know what happens next. You start doubting everything, and before you know it, you've stopped writing completely. This is where Claude became incredibly useful. Instead of quitting for the day, I would just pace my chapter and start asking questions. Questions like, what are 5 ways this scene could become more dramatic? My character just discovered a betrayal. What emotional reactions might or should happen next? My male lead is confessing his love to the female lead for the first time. Give me tips on what he should say. These questions don't give me the final answer, but they get my brain moving again, and that's often all I need. Sometimes one suggestion triggers an idea I never would have thought of myself. The result? Less staring, less frustration, more writing. And honestly, that's the biggest benefit I've experienced. Besides, a finished imperfect book is better than an unfinished perfect one, right? Next is how Claude helps me edit my drafts. Editing is where most writers spend the majority of their time. You finish a chapter, then you read it. Then rewrite it again, and most times still not satisfied with the result. Claude helped me speed up this process. Let's say I write a scene that I'm not sure about or satisfied with. Instead of asking, "Is this good?" I ask more specific questions. For example, point out areas where the pacing feels slow. Identify repetitive words in this chapter. Does this dialogue sound natural? Smoothen and tighten the dialogue. Claude can analyze the text and highlight potential problems. Now here's an important warning. Never assume the AI is always correct. Sometimes its suggestions are excellent and sometimes terrible. You are still the author. You make the final decision. Think of Claude like an editor giving feedback. You don't have to accept every suggestion. Simply evaluate the advice and keep what improves your story. This approach has saved me hours during revisions, especially when I'm too close to the manuscript to notice obvious issues. After reading the same chapter 10 times, your brain probably starts filling in the gaps automatically. Claude gives you a fresh perspective, and that's incredibly valuable. Let's move to the next part. The biggest mistake beginners make. Many beginners open Claude and type, "Write my novel," and then get disappointed with the result. Here's why. AI is not human. They make mistakes and only work best when you collaborate with them, not when you hand over the entire creative process. The better approach is to use Claude for specific tasks like brainstorming, outlining, character creation, scene planning, editing, research assistance, problem solving. When you treat Claude like a creative assistant instead of a replacement writer, the results become much better. Remember, readers aren't connecting with AI, they're connecting with you, your experiences, imagination, and emotions. Those are things no AI can truly replace. Claude is simply helping you work faster and think more clearly, and that's exactly how it should be used. Imagine this. 1 year from now, you finally finish the novel you've been thinking about for years. Would using an AI assistant make that achievement any less meaningful? I don't think so, because you're still the one making the decisions. You're still the storyteller. So, has Claude AI made my writing easier as a novel writer? Absolutely. Not because it writes novels for me, or it's perfect, but because it removes friction from my writing process. It helps me brainstorm faster, overcome writer's block, help improve my drafts, and most importantly, it helps me spend more time actually writing. If you're a beginner writer, I think Claude is worth trying. Start small. Use it as a brainstorming partner. Experiment with prompts. Learn what works for your writing process, and remember, AI isn't here to replace creativity, but to support it. If you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe because I post beginner-friendly AI tutorials that help writers and content creators work faster and create better content. In the next video, I'm going to show you the exact Claude AI prompts I use to write faster, generate better story ideas, and overcome writer's block whenever it appears. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.